Hello and welcome to Ultimate Pool Champions League. It's Group 2 highlight show, and this is a group that includes Stephen McGuire, the snooker star, making his Ultimate Pool Pro debut. Up against him are fellow professionals Neil Raybone, Arfan and Jez Graham. Into our first match then, and it is Raybone versus Graham, and we join the match at 1 frame all.
Monday nights, it's short, it's fast. You don't necessarily have to play well consistently, but win those moments and you'll go pretty far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, short races, aren't they? So it's not necessarily about just consistently taking out finishes. A lot of matches, the clock gets involved. Big power there from Neil on the break, but not a good result for him in terms of he's come up dry. The only good news is that Jez is perfectly on reds, and reds is not the colour set he wants. He wants to be yellows here. Yellow on the bottom right-hand corners, causing problems for the reds, but forced into going reds.
This will be an interesting visit to the table from Jez Graham. How does he solve the problem at the bottom right corner? He's an excellent shot maker. He will back himself to do it.
Yeah, there's 3 balls in that area of the table. 2 of them aren't a problem. One of them drops in the centre pocket. The one furthest away from the cushion, that even goes in the pocket past the yellow. It's the one directly above the yellow that's the problem ball. And neither of the other 2 are particularly nice to break it out. Maybe get on the one nearer the triangle area into the bottom left with an angle to do so. Can't play a red off a yellow to open up that pocket, so it is a bit of a problem. There's always the double as an option. Well, we're not going to find out what his plan was, thanks to that miss.
No, that did look tight, I must say.
I think he had the pocket. He just couldn't play it off that jaw, and he was a lot further away from it than would have been ideal, but still a surprising miss.
Yeah, just a couple of early signs already. I mean, we are dealing very much in small margins, as we talked about, but a couple of misses already from Jez Graham. You can't afford to have too many more of those.
No, first chance 3 times.
You've got to hope to be 3-0 up from that.
Yeah, and his every chance he could be 2-1 behind. You know, that's tough to be when you've had first chance 3 times. Okay, I'll argue that this third one wasn't, you know, as great a chance as the first 2, but well, certainly the last one. But still would have fancied the job. Neil's done the hard work here. Not that there was a huge amount when he came to the table, just 2 semi-awkward balls, but they're out of the way pretty quickly. Never really in doubt, this counter clearance, a bit like the previous one. Neil back in front.
It almost needs to feel like an extension of the arm, and if it doesn't, you're going to find it tough. You're also going to find it tough if you get kicked in like that, because, I mean, we have seen some brutal ones, but this is about as tough as it gets. Jez Graham hits that flush, parks it smack bang in the centre of the table, and gets jabbed, punched into the top left. How do you like it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. And that's a sort of, you were sat in your chair thinking about the 3 missed chances, or the 2 missed chances out of the first 3 that he had, and rather than that being kicked in off, that's what you sort of feel happens when you don't take your opportunities. So for the first time in a match, Neil Raybone does get cue ball, gets the first opportunity, but cue ball in hand anywhere in the bulk area.
Yellow ball's in play.
Talking about Neil's cue, there's also been a few tweaks to Jez's cue as well. Some running repairs this past weekend in preparation for tonight and the Pro Series that follows.
We talked a lot about the Ultimate Pool Pro Series at the start of the show. Officially gets underway with its first tour event this week.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing us get underway. Obviously, these Champions League and Masters are fantastic, but something about the Pro Series, which players are going to get going this year. Very exciting times for Ultimate Pool. Nice little cannon there on the yellow. Very easy to go end up behind the 8 ball with the shot he just played. Good little feather off the yellow. Never ideal to leave the one he's left as last ball. Wouldn't have been his original plan when he came to the table. That's really good. I mean, he could not pick the cue ball up with his hand and put it better than that. It's accepted what he had. Didn't try and do too much, didn't play into it, just accepted he could get to where he has, but that really was an excellent positional shot.
And that's a lovely pot as well. Clean out the pocket. And Neil Raybone's about to go on the hill here. Less than 4 minutes to go in our first match of the night, and it looks like a long way back for Jez Graham into the 15-second shot clock part of the match.
Jez won the next frame, but left himself only 5 seconds for frame 6, and with no golden break, he was going to come up short, and Neil Raybone takes the points. On to our second match then, Arfan Dad taking on the snooker star Stephen McGuire in his Ultimate Pool debut.
Plenty watching tonight, wanting to see how Stephen's going to get on. But first, he's got to get to the table. And for those who want to see it, they're going to get it right now. Arfan breaks dry. Looks like he's been taking a few tips from his buddy Chris Melling with the break, hitting it with a little bit of topspin to try and park that cue ball. But no friends. As Stephen pots his opening red and gets in and amongst it. And that was a pull shot. He has developed his difficult red. And straight away has an opportunity. Now, let's sort of try and break this one down, if we can, Simon. Let's sort of go into the finer details. Snooker and pool, biggest differences. Someone like Stephen's level, it's not going to be the size of the table. That's not going to bother him, let's be honest. But there are elements he will have to alter and change to have success at this game.
Yeah, there's a few things technically that you just need to get your head around. He talked about it a little bit in the interview there. That one of the big differences for snooker players coming to pool that haven't played a huge amount of pool, and even the ones that have, is the fact the cue ball is actually smaller than the object ball, which actually has a big effect on the way the cue ball is going to react. And he said in his interview it's going to be controlling that cue ball is the bit that he's going to struggle with the most out there. The other thing,
right on cue.
Yeah, right on cue. The other thing that you need to sort of get your head around when you're coming from snooker and you've not played a huge amount of pool is that potting and controlling the cue ball, obviously it's a huge part of the game, but it's not really the game. The game is the puzzle. If you think about pool as a puzzle, can you work out the puzzle? Because if you can, then it doesn't really matter whether you can pot well or not, because you're often not having to pot well. You just simple pots all the time with simple cue ball because you've worked out the puzzle really, really well. So that's the bit that I think Stephen may not be able to grasp as quickly, because he hasn't played a huge amount of it. Obviously, you don't expect him to miss many pots. It's just, can he control the cue ball and sort of string finishes together?
Well, early indicator is he will find that difficult. Arfan doesn't miss that pot. He's played that deliberately. Not a huge amount of merit in Arfan taking on yellows here, because he's got a difficult one near the left centre. He's also got total control of the frame. Stephen's just going to open everything up and say, all right then, off you go, because Arfan needs to pot here.
Yeah, that's come out pretty well for Stephen McGuire. Okay, it's still a really good chance here for Arfan, but that's probably as good as he could have hoped for. And that's
not ideal.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's not too bad either for me. You can play an easy enough safety now. You could continue if you wanted to. You can clip this back, but an easy enough safety. The reason I say it's not too bad is because the ball that he's just played was going to be a slight problem ball, actually, because it was fairly blocked off by the red. So he's gone straight into it and tried to open it up, hasn't landed, and then you play the safety.
Stephen's having some fun out there. I thought it was Paul, he says. That's my game, as Arfan lays the snooker. And this is very, very difficult. Difficult hit, never mind to get anything towards a pocket. Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, cue ball in hand here for Arfan. This should be end of frame. Nothing in the way to stop him.
Yeah, and one thing that Arfan will look to improve on his last visit to this Ultimate Pool table, which we saw in the Pro Cup at the back end of December. Lost a game to Jordan Shepherd, which he had absolutely no right to lose. And the start of the comeback began when Arfan was overly defensive. Laid snooker after snooker without really trying to improve his own position. Jordan Shepherd eventually found a way out and really started to ascend the mountain from there. Arfan will be keen to not let that happen again. It begins with maybe taking on a bit more of an attacking mindset, backing himself, confidence, and that's a confident finish.
Lineup we have this coming weekend. It really is amazing to see. There's been a obviously big difference, big change in the pool world over the last 2 or 3 years because of Ultimate Pool and everything that's going on, and highlighted by the fact that someone like Stephen McGuire and some of the other snooker players are keen to get involved. Good break from Stephen this time. Gets himself another opportunity. One red by the cue ball now. That's the problem. Don't think it passes the yellow to the corner, but I'm fairly certain of it. Might be just enough showing to play left centre, but not easy to get there. Here's a tricky ball.
Yeah, I also don't think there's the room in the middle pocket on the right-hand side to squeeze past that yellow either. So into it he goes.
Beautiful.
That'll do.
He got the cue ball wrong a couple of times in the previous visit. That was perfection. If he catches the yellow, it causes him a problem. Catches the red full in the face, then it could go a little bit messy. He caught it just on the top side, knocks it on, and really was a very precise cannon. That's not ideal, though. That is going to cause him some headaches getting onto the 8 ball here. Really have to cue this one well, avoid some yellows. Very good. Oh, it's going to go in off.
Well.
Just when he hit that when he hit the first cushion, I thought that's going to come straight across the table and be fine, and just started tracking towards the centre pocket. Just got into it a trace. But it's not that's not the bad shot for me, it's the previous one. You can't leave yourself that angle. You have to have an angle to be able to get on the 8 ball.
Yeah, agreed. Nice opening shot from Arfan. I assume the yellow just below the middle pocket will glide in if you get right behind it, or is it just trapped on that knuckle? Does he have to do anything here?
He's going to play safe. I was thinking if you don't like it in the mid-right centre, then you play safe. But for me, if it does drop in the right centre, then you take the one to the bottom right-hand corner there and use the one to the right centre to connect to the one he's just played, and that connects to the one above the 8 ball, and then you're out. But so maybe that one on the centre pocket is slightly tricky.
Gamble that safety is it's just going to be one cushion. And Stephen McGuire goes close.
It will be interesting to see what he does here. Because I'm assuming that yellow doesn't go comfortably in the centre, because I think if it did, he would have gone last time, because there was nothing in the way for the clearance at all. There was no advantage for playing that safety.
Well, has he tried to just play into it there, or is he going to take it now?
No, I don't think he did. I think he now believes it does go.
This is delicate. You can only really tell from being right behind it. He doesn't love it.
No, he really doesn't.
Never in doubt, Arfan.
Yeah, to me,
it always looks so much easier when it drops.
Yeah.
You see Jake McCartney and Paul Clack, two Australian Ultimate Pool professionals. Jake McCartney running deep in the recent Pro Cup. Paul Clack making his Ultimate Pool debut this weekend. Sorry, Simon.
I was just going to say that the amazing thing about this for me is that this is arguably a harder clearance he's taking on now than the previous visit, but he's gone through this nicely. One good pot to the top right corner, and it should be home free. In it goes. Straight enough on this yellow just to bring it back. And to me, does this the fact that he's waited a visit here just highlight the fact that maybe he's just feeling a little bit not at the top of his game, that he's kind of almost waiting for it to be even better?
Arfan Dab won the next 2 frames for a convincing 4-0 victory. Stephen McGuire was straight back in action, this time against Jez Graham.
Come and join us on the Ultimate Pool side of things as well.
Yeah, it really is amazing to see. And also, when you look at the graphic like that, there's 7 top snooker players involved, and 4 of them have had experience in the pool world, obviously highlighted by Mark Selby winning the World Championships, but we've seen good stuff from Tom Ford. He's made a quarterfinals of the World. Joe O'Connor did lots of good stuff in the junior side of World Pool, but Mark Allen's played enough pool in his career to sort of have an idea of what he's doing out there. But for Stephen McGuire, Ryan Day and Mark Williams, it's all very new for them, although we do know that Mark Williams is really enjoying playing some pool back home. So it's sort of 2 different styles, and it'll be fascinating to see how they all get on this as the sort of season goes on.
Yeah, we don't have long to wait. They break off on Thursday evening in the Pro Series on Ultimate Pool TV. Jez Graham, first visit in this match then, and as I mentioned, it is a crucial one for both these 2 players. You win, you're very much still in the night. You lose, and there is no way for you to advance.
Not the best angle here for Jez, but he doesn't really need to get too close to his next ball. He would have preferred to leave this one over bottom right as the last ball. Can't really do that now, so it does have to play a very good positional shot here because of where the 8 ball is. Get the wrong angle on the last yellow, that 8 ball becomes a real problem to get onto. And that's okay. This yellow does slide past the red, straight enough just to top it through. Actually helped a lot that yellow did go in that bottom left-hand corner. I wasn't sure it did from the original layout, which would have made that positional shot even tougher, but still controlled it very well.
Yeah, very nicely done indeed.
Jez won the next 2 frames as well. Maguire now has the break at 3-0 behind.
Especially if you're coming, in fairly cold, and you feel like you're going to be a second favourite if you get into a tactical exchange. So you want to have the balls more wide open, and you think your best chance of winning frames and matches is to have a wide open match where it comes down to a clearance contest. But this match has not been that. Decent break here.
Well, there's a little bit of a... Does the red pass the 8 ball bottom of the table? If so, does he have an opening red that he likes?
My first thought was reds, but then when you look at the layout, yellows aren't too bad. You may have to play the plant on the yellow to the bottom left, but that's not too bad if you get behind it. Yellow bottom right becomes, as a comfortable last ball. have just too much angle on this one. Would love to be able to come down through the gap between the cushion and the red. You can see he had a bit more angle than that, so he's going to not play the plant and play the one nearest the pocket, but that means he wants to come twice across because he really wants to be on the higher one of the two next.
Oh,
Clever.
That's clever.
Yeah.
But
just moves that ball too far.
that was a really clever shot. And now he's got to pull out a big one. Oh, is he on it? Deserves to be. Oh, I don't think he is.
I chased it here, and he's on nothing.
Oh, what an effort. What an effort from Stephen McGuire. And Jez Graham should now come in and mop up. Stephen McGuire nearly pulling out all the stops. I'll tell you what, that yellow drops and he somehow makes the 8 ball from the position it's in. That is a serious contender for finish of the season so far. This is all over. Jez Graham responds to defeat in the opening rounds by getting 4 straight and knocking out Stephen McGuire. Stephen will still have another match to play tonight, but that will purely be for potential 3rd place.
On to match 4, where the 2 winners from our opening 2 games meet. Neil Raybone taking on Arfan Dad. And it was Neil Raybone that won the opening 2 frames and has the break in frame 3.
Well, Neil's going to come dry, and whilst aesthetically that looked all right, I have a feeling our slow motion replay here will reveal a slightly miss-hit break. No, not too bad. I thought the cue ball was spinning all over the place, but no, I take back what I said there. There's the teapot, and Neil Raybone can feel aggrieved.
I think he needs to work on that teapot. You can get a little bit more, on it. Well, Arfan, if you want to get into this match, this is the visit. These are all there. This is just connect the dots. Nothing in the way. A few different ways you can go about it, but if he wants any chance of getting through or winning this match at least, this is the visit where it all starts. Can't afford to go 3-0 down to a player of Neil's level. And he's in trouble already. Can only assume he thought he was getting a little cannon on the yellow, and not many areas and not many places in the bottom half of the table you can land, not be on a red. And I think he's pretty much put himself there. Does have one that he can clip in. But the control of the cue ball's not easy from this one. Can he hold it? Tried to pot it thick, maybe thinking about the cue ball, maybe trying to play a cannon on the yellow. He'll be very disappointed with that, more so than the first frame. He knows how good that was. Sort of layout that a player of Arfan's level just expects to make the clearance every single time.
Not ideal for Neil. Fairly sure he was hoping to play beyond the 8 ball. Played that cannon. He's not really on anything.
He's not. The plant isn't too bad. I suspect he's a little bit worried about the yellow going into a safe place. Yes, he's knocking it down towards an area of the table that is awkward. He's done well to not move it too far.
Yeah, now working this finish, that's for sure. And you could say there needn't have been. That's an excellent shot.
That couldn't have come out too much better for him. I think he can come straight back here as well and play on the one that he just knocked towards the bad area. He knew he was going into the reds, and if he doesn't hit that little feather on the first one, he catches the other one fuller, the cue ball stops in the bottom left-hand corner pocket, and he's on nothing. Was not guaranteed to come out. And he still hasn't been able to deal with the most awkward ball on the table yet, which is the one below the red on the right-hand side. You use the word digging, he certainly is.
Yeah, isn't he just?
Could have done with a couple more rolls on that shot he's just played. He's on this yellow, obviously, but the angle's not what he wanted. I think he's taking it in the middle. Big shot.
Ooh, is he still on that one across the table?
I don't think so. No. Reaction tells us just hasn't got hold of this visit from ball one. This one does cut. It's about as thin as it could possibly be. Oh,
how do you like those?
Oh, and look where the cue ball's finished. That is massive. Oh, almost a guilty sigh there from Neil Raybone. He knows he got a touch.
Well, I just... Sometimes this game never fails to amaze you. That was an amazing finish to that frame. Neil Raybone counts his lucky stars. But just amazing shot, really. I'm going to take another look at it. Was it already going in?
No, the yellow was going to stay on the table. I think it was just about going to stay on it. It may have snuck in, but it was about as wide as it possibly could be. And I think it would have jawed and stayed up.
Arfan won the next 2 frames as well to give himself a chance. He is now breaking with 1 minute 16 seconds left on the clock and 1 frame behind.
Well, he gets his own opportunity to respond.
He might actually take it.
And he's chasing the golden as well here. He's gone to the cut break.
Big, big shot. 8 ball in motion. It's flying around the table. It's going to stay up. How's the split? It isn't, at first glance, particularly nice.
It's not that bad, you know. It isn't. Every yellow has a pocket here. Every red has a pocket as well. They're just a little bit in the way of each other, but the yellows, they sort of connect.
Yellow's the choice.
One at the top of the table's away from the rest of the work. It doesn't connect to anything on the table. Maybe the 8 ball's the easiest ball for it to connect to. And he's going to go up for it now.
I don't think he was. I think he planned to hit this gap.
Can make the case for taking the one at the top now. Coming back to where he is. It's a thin cut, but it might be an easier finish from there.
I think you got to take it now, no question.
The yellow he's just moved does go to the bottom right. So drop this one in. Doesn't want to be straight here. Straight doesn't help him. And he's not. That's excellent. He can get into this last yellow.
14 seconds. Arfan Dad is jogging. Has he got the time? Needs to nail this. Does. 4 seconds left, and he's behind the red. Oh, that's how close he came. Tremendous effort from Arfan Dad, but it's Neil Raybone, who is a very relieved man, and he knows.
Arfan Dad stays on the table, this time playing Jez Graham. Both players need a win to put pressure on Neil Raybone in the final match of the night. The opening 2 frames were shared. Arfan Dad has the break in frame 3.
Eight ball flying again. Up the middle of the table, but nothing else. Going down. He actually hit this one for me, as good as he's hit any of the cut breaks. Okay, not a huge amount from him tonight, but hit that well. Deserved the ball for me. And assuming the yellow does go in the right centre pocket, it's not blocked off by the other yellow, then all these yellows go. Maybe the one in the triangle area might need a nudge. I'm not sure if it does slide in the corner or not. He's looking at reds anyway. Same deal with reds, really, apart from the one in the triangle area. Definitely doesn't need a nudge if you're reds. It does go without the nudge, although we might still end up doing that. Not the best of angles on the red to top right. Cue ball's going across the left-hand side where there's traffic.
Yeah, needs a good shot here. Loaded it up. Wants to glide by the 8-ball. Has he just made it safe?
I'm surprised he's tried to come that side of the 8-ball. I thought he might just play that with running side off 2 cushions, and the gap was quite big, and cue ball in the middle of the table, right in the middle of the table, would have been absolutely perfect. If he gets straight in on the one to the bottom left, he's perfect. If he comes up short, he can play the little cannon, soft control, or he's even got the one to the top of the table. Going top side of the 8-ball, always going to cause a problem.
Slides that one in nicely, but he's still got work to do here. I think the 8-ball still goes.
Yeah, I can only assume it does. Otherwise, I think he might have tried to do something with it off that shot.
How would you like these? Is that red still able to slide past the yellow? I think so, but this is tough.
Yeah, the one he's next to does, but the other one doesn't. And you've got to get on it. Look at what he's looking at here. He's looking at 1, 2, coming 2 cushions, well, probably 3 cushions with very short position. Cue ball's got to move a long way with next to 0 margin of error. Oh, and it's a tough pot.
He's capable of these kind of shots, Jez Graham.
Oh, in the end, he decided not to. He's gone, just kind of played underneath it and said, as long as I stay underneath it, I'll have a shot.
He's actually got a nice angle to just land on the 8-ball here as well. It's a tough pot, though. Knows that he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball, which does help. Just make the red. No.
Yeah, and that whole visit for me came down to his second shot. Could not leave himself the angle he did, and from that moment on he was chasing and never got there. What does Arfan do then? Red does cause some problems. Normally we'd be talking about, can you play a loss of turn shot and play the snooker, but not particularly easy to do that from where he is. So if you try and play a snooker on the red, got to make it a very good one. He's left the jaws at worst weight. That shot's definitely on. And actually quite doable.
Yeah, Jez will fancy this.
Well, he's going to go twice across rather than that. Just watch the slide. But could go very close here. Yeah, just slid on him. You saw that. He's a mile off because that first cushion comes up so much wider than he's expecting.
I was thinking with that shot, you got to play it at so much pace to get it to straighten up quickly. Because ordinarily, if you wanted it to straighten up, you'd play bottom of the cue ball, but he couldn't because he was on the rail. So you got to play it there so quick.
So cue ball in hand for Arfan, but he still has the same problem he had when he came to the table previously, in terms of the reds causing him a problem because it's blocking a yellow and an 8-ball. Oh, he'll take that. He will take that. Not sure if he was playing the yellow off the yellow into the middle or just playing it clean, but the other side of the shot, he's broken out the yellow by the 8-ball, and the 8-ball's in a position where you can get onto it.
Oh, you can't do that, though.
I think he knew he wasn't on that. I think he has just played the snooker. I don't think there was actually any attempt to pot that, which is a surprise, really, because he could have potted other balls and worked his way back round. But he wasn't on that one.
Oh, can Jez get this cue ball tracking towards that corner pocket? He knows that if he hits the red, he's pretty much won the frame. It's a big swerve. Oh, this will be some shot. What an effort. Oh, that is superb. Jez Graham with a belter. But, was it the right choice of shot to leave him in? That's a good hit, that, from Jez. He's got to make a ball there, surely. Wow.
That sums up Paul. His previous break was miss-hit, and he made a ball. That is the best break that anyone has put on tonight, and it is dry. That's pure. That was absolutely squared up, blushed.
There's 4 balls left in the bottom half of the table. The 8 balls got as far as the balk line. How on earth? There's nothing dropped. That is tough to take.
Because so many balls are going on the top half, though, it makes the top half actually quite congested. Yellow's the choice here. 1 yellow a problem. He's tried to play into it. Okay. He could have done with just a shade thicker cannon on that yellow, but it's come out enough that it now goes in the middle. That's nice. I think he's got an angle where he can just float onto the yellow that he nudged open on his first shot. Still a lot of work left here, though. Yeah. They don't connect up particularly nicely. So if you take this one now, you feel you have to come back for the one above the 8 ball, because you're not going to get a better chance to get on it. But getting from this one onto the one on the cushion, very difficult. So if you come down the table, you need to get a good angle then to get on the one on the cushion. Maybe end up doubles, always an option, worse way. But then the 8 ball needs to be landed on as well. That's not gone to plan. Not sure what he was playing there, really, which way he was looking to go. He can't have been playing the cannon on the red.
He's reaching.
He has got enough angle to get across the table, but it's a big pot. Brilliant.
Great shot.
Phenomenal shot.
That is some shot from Arfan Dad.
He's still digging, though. The red that he cannoned into previously is stopping him from coming around 2 cushions to get on the 8 ball. And you can't play this with enough right-hand side to get across, I don't think. Oh, the 8 ball must squeeze in top left, but this is...
You say must.
It's ultra tight, this. There is not much room.
Oh, it did. As soon as you saw Arfan get down on it like he did, you really did start to fear for him. Was he convincing himself that it went? No, it went comfy in the end.
And that is how it would finish as the clock ran out in the next and leaving the players with a point apiece. That meant that Neil Raybone goes through regardless of the result in his final match, taking on Stephen McGuire.
Because he knows whatever happens in this next 20 minutes, he is safely through to the last 16 of the Ultimate Pool Champions League. He's now got himself quite a nice rubber match against Stephen McGuire, the professional snooker player who is looking to get his first Ultimate Pool victory. And if his night is anything to go by, he may once again have to do it from behind, because Neil Raybone's going to get first poke in this frame, and with a fairly presentable chance on yellows. And it's worth pointing out as well, Stephen McGuire isn't just looking for his first Ultimate Pool win, he's still looking for his first Ultimate Pool frame. He has made an 8 ball, just not in the way he would have wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he goes throughout the year. It is worth pointing out, Stephen is very new to pool, so, and he has had, especially in the second match, he has had some very tough layouts to try and attack, so can't really be too critical. It's the way it goes out there at times. What we do know, well, it's not really going to tie up with what I was about to say, but Neil's looked very good tonight. Looked very sharp. Misses a pot that you wouldn't want to there straight away. Slightly hampered queuing, but if he can get to the bottom of the queue, and he can, a cue ball rather, then no problems here. Great chance to get that first frame on the board then for Stephen McGuire. May have got a slight kick there, you know. Still no problems.
All right, there we have it. That is a monkey off the back of Stephen McGuire's first frame.
Neil Raybone jumped in front by winning the next 2 frames.
See where he gets to in a few tournaments' time for me. Big break from Neil this time. I said previously his break was not really working for him. This time it comes out really well. Yellows is the choice. 1 yellow to work out. Looks like it's a little bit too high up the table to play yellow off yellow. May have been looking for an angle to go into it straight away. May have to just drop this one in and screw into it, but then you're leaving the one at the top of the table alone. So this is awkward.
Ah, lovely shot.
Still awkward though. That's why he was not happy with the previous position. He wanted to be able to cannon the top side of the yellow to sort of bounce it over the middle. This is tough.
Very, very good, but still not what he wants. Neil Raybone is in big, big trouble. What can he pull off here? Oh, he went for it all. Wasn't a bad effort at all.
The yellow goes kindly to the middle of the top of the table here for Stephen, so a chance to counter clear. I think there's enough room to be able to play on the one bottom of the 2 at the bottom end of the table. I think there's just enough showing to be able to pot it. If not, it'll be a cannon required.
Yeah, you can't help but feel that Neil Raybone has rather Avada Kedavra his chances of winning this frame. Stephen McGuire with a fairly simple run out from here.
It's not ideal. Not a good angle on this red in the middle to get on the next ball. Has to accept distance. Back the good cueing that Stephen McGuire has.
God, what a shot. He deserved a little bit more with that. You really did deserve a little bit more. A wry smile from Stephen McGuire.
Oh, and he's going to attack as well. He's going to try and make this off the top cushion. Hit the gap with the two reds, and you'll pop one of them.
Oh, brilliant. And he's still going to have to play out of a shot.
Oh, he's going to keep digging here. Side cushion this time. Could even play this two cushions and get it.
Just like that. Stephen McGuire, what a finish this is. Well, he has finally come to the party. And Stephen McGuire is certainly on fire in that frame right there. What a finish!
Neil Raybone got himself back in front in the next frame and would hold on for the win, completing the job on the night and putting himself through to the second stage of the competition, joining Chris Melling. If you'd like to watch this night back, then you can. It is on ultimatepool.tv. Or if you are looking forward to next week, then Monday, the 23rd of January on Viaplay and Ultimate Pool TV sees this lineup for Group 3. Mark Allen, the snooker star, in action. Jordan Shepherd, one of the most entertaining players in the game, the former Pro Cup champion. Former world champion Carl Morris is in action as well. And Phil Parkin, the new professional, completes the group. It should be another cracker with the Ultimate Pool Champions League.